What's up, guys? This is Davide from Maximals, and this is the most wonderful time of the year, but not because it's almost Christmas, but because today we are going into the project of You Got Me, the third track of the Reset EP that is out now on Protocol Recording. So, let's dive into the project. So, the basic difference between this track and the other two tracks we've seen in the past videos is that this time I started the track from the break, which is not a thing that I usually do, because I like to start from the drop because it's powerful and it makes immediately idea of what the track will be. So I started with these chords of the piano inspired by a lot of 70s and 80s tracks. I came up with this melody which may sound familiar to you. It's really simple, but I've layered it with another M1 piano. It's most like an organ. And then with another Kontakt, which is a fantastic plugin. And I use this basic Funk 2 organ from this bank. I can't find here. Okay, Vintage Keys, I think. I don't remember exactly, but it sounds like this. Very smooth. Now overall it sounds like this. Obviously, the part that makes the difference is this. I love funky bass, and you can easily guess why. But this time I've used another different approach to this, because I could have gone with a full straight bass line, just making things boring, but instead of it I tried with it. And it sounds really nasty. Another fun part of the track was building a cool 80s vibe drum set, because it's not easy, mostly because the tracks we are doing now are not using the same samples they've used in 80s or 70s. So I've dig into my sample packs and I found this kick. It's really smooth. And I've built all the drums around this kick. There is a filter going up in between. And you can see that with the organs and the pianos and the bass part, it sounds really like a vintage track. To increase that vibe, I've added a vinyl crackle that is really nice, because it gives the immediate feels of the 80s. See, it's really, really smooth, but it makes the difference. To make it full, to fill the spectrum, I've just added this vocal and this loop. So overall you have the full break with a vocal I've just took from a pack, and I've just edited with the formants and the pitch. So we have the break sounding like this. Once the break was done, I had no idea on how to build a drop. So I started playing with samples, and I've used as the bass sample the same samples I've used in the break. So this one and this one. So I said, wow, in 80s they use the strings a lot. So I've used full strings that is one line of a sample. There's only one note going through, and I pitched on the last two bars here just to have that feel of changing notes that was really common in 80s tracks. So the strings goes like this. You can see it changes, and now we have starting to take shape. Then I've added another groove loop that is not just a groove, it's kind of filter house stuff, and I've just used a filter with automation on LFO, otherwise it will sound like this. It's already filtered, but I've added a lot of filtering back, and now we have this synth over here. Then a classic string hit that is really nice on this track. A vocal, because it's just let's see it in solo. It's really simple, but it does like the sparkles on top. And then I recorded a piano. It's just a shot, always with the M1 piano, which is, as you may know, one of my favorite. And now I have the synths. What I needed was the kick. A cool bass line that could be easily tied with the other one in the break. You know, I tried to make this bass line as much similar as a real bass. This is from Kontakt, it's really good for basses. And then with the sub bass. Now it sounds really nice. So we have the kick, the synths, and the bass line. Now we only need drums. Here's the drums. This time drums are really simple because I didn't use a lot of drums, just the basic drums. So we have a shaker, a hi-hat, a snare and a clap going at the same time, a little percussion here. And then we have the congas, which are one of my favorite drums ever, that if you listen carefully, in all 80s tracks are playing the congas pretty much everywhere, pretty much with the same notes and pads and so on. These congas are making the difference right now because without the conga, you don't have the exact feel of the movement. I mean, the groove is okay, but I needed some extra spice on that. And then we have just a cool feature on the vocal that is basically the same vocal repeated on the drop and going down with an automation on the volume. So I didn't have to create a new delay on the last part, which is something annoying also to do. And I just duplicated the last part of the vocal and added a little bit of reverb, EQ, like a radio EQ. So I just erased the first and the last part of the spectrum, and it's going down like this. But if you see overall, it seems like a simple delay, but it's not. This is what I call creative delay. So be smart and try to create a delay that is not following your tracks, is not following your automations, but try to, in my opinion, it's best to create one another, because you have easily control on that and you don't have to stick on what the delay is doing into the sample. It's almost Christmas, I'm preparing a lot of stuff for the new year, but for now that's all from Maximus, from X Studio. If you have any question or any answers, just drop it down there and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. So have a nice holidays, Merry Christmas and see you soon. Ciao!